Hey, welcome in. I hope you are all doing very well. I'm doing pretty good myself. As you can tell from the title of this video, uh, I've been enjoying the hell out of POE 2. I can't say that I have since the release. To be honest, um, I'm gonna go ahead and go through. I'll go through the build that I played. I don't really follow any guides. I don't really follow anything anymore. It's not that I have anything against any creators or anything like that, but as I'm getting older and I've just kind of gotten away from social media and I've gotten away from a lot of that stuff. I'm more into the retro gaming. I got a lot of old stuff that I play. I just do my own thing. Granted, I did Explosive Grenade because I expected that Gemling Legionnaire was going to have a bunch of cool stuff for the secondary quality ascendancy, and thought, yeah, I'm sure that there's going to be plus grenades to something. So I went with Explosive Grenade. My build isn't much different than a lot of the Explosive Grenade versions or variants out there. Uh, but within the first week, I cleared pretty much everything, and I've just been racking up currency and spending a lot of it on the ridiculous way that you have to craft in this game and having a blast. And I put a couple of clips up recently and thought, you know what? I'll go ahead and make an actual video and talk about how much fun I've been having. And yeah, I went ahead and put a Word document together to kind of go through the pros, the cons, some things that I'm concerned about for the future of this game. Um, and then we'll end it with a, uh, a little overview of the build, and then I have another video I might put out of some farm that I figured out that I really enjoyed. Not sure if any of you guys did it. It's kind of interesting. It's fun. It didn't really yield too much, but it was cool and it really reminded me of PoE 1 farming, and just see what you guys think about it. I'll put that video together. I have another option of trying it again. It's not something that you can do on purpose. You have to find it. Um, but yeah, let me bring over the document, the Word document. I'll let my character here look over at the document while I pull it over in front. So let's go ahead and go through. Of course, usually, as somebody that was in the military, we usually do what's called the shit sandwich, where you want to make sure that the bad stuff is uh, on the inside, and then you kind of sandwich it together with the good stuff. But in this capacity, we're gonna just give you the good, and then the bad, and then the indifferent at the bottom. So the pros with this patch. And I want to see if you guys. I want to see your opinions on this one. I want to read them. The pros. The Atlas feels alive. This is the biggest pro that they could possibly get out of me, and this is what made me fall in love with this game. And this is what has me so enticed for the future of Path of Exile 2. They made the Atlas feel alive, and there's so much potential for the future. So much when it comes to all the different things that they can do with new leagues. Harbinger would be awesome to see as some like special city that you can run into on the Atlas. The secrets that they can hide. And everybody has a different Atlas. Of course, the starting areas are going to look similar, but after you go past that, the way the Atlas feels to me, it is almost like playing an MMO for the first time. That's kind of the feeling that you get when you're playing this game now. The Atlas can be so expansive and so interesting. So you go in one direction, and next thing you know, you're finding these weird cities and these weird areas that nobody else will have. Or they might have it and it'll be in some totally different location. Or they might have like special nodes. One of the things that I thought about was in Path of Exile 1, there is a rare encounter that is just as rare as finding a mirror, and it is Krilson. Uh, Everybody remembers Chris Wilson. He was one of the founding fathers of Grinding Gear Games. He one of the creators of Path of Exile. Uh, they made him into a fishing character, and it is one of the most rare encounters that you can find in Path of Exile 1. Uh, Somehow I've found him one time in my 17,000 hours of playing that game. Never found a raw mirror though, and it's just a gimmick. It's a meme. It's not even. There's nothing special about it. Uh, they could sneak stuff like that in, or it could be something like some really amazing item or some amazing unique that's actually really good, and they could sneak something like that in. It could be on everybody's atlas, but it could be in some way off remote area that you may never even find. It may be something you'll never see, or it could be just some random time you're playing a year, 2 years down the road, and it just spawns, two screens over from your main starting area, and then you end up with this awesome item that either garners you a whole bunch of currency early on in a league, and you end up having this awesome build in this awesome league one time. That's the kind of stuff that is just so enticing to me. It's like finding a cool secret zone in an MMO, and that's what really like pumps me up for the future of the Path of Exile 2, and what really makes me excited for what they can do with the Atlas. Um, so yeah, the Atlas, they finally found their niche. It's finally clicked. They did it, in my opinion. Um, Another thing, leagues have a distinction, gives purpose. I think another cool aspect about this league is they made it so that um, it feels like there's a purpose to farm every league. PoE 1 kind of sort of has that. Uh, there are people that like to farm delve, fossils, resonators. There's some uniques that people want, like a couple of the bosses, like all there's some amulets that he drops. There's the rings. Some people like to farm the rings. There's the Doriani's Machinarium, the unique map. Sometimes they require it if you want to get 40 out of 40 achievements, stuff like that. People farm delve. They farm harvest for the harvest juice, so on and so forth. Now we have that in Path of Exile 2. You want to farm breach? Boom, farm breach. You do tablets. You have the ability to forcefully put breach locations on your map. How about ritual? You can do that too. You want to do delirium? You can put a whole section of delirium. You can do it with everything. They made an entire area, the ocean, for expedition. They've done it with all of it. Now, there's a caveat to that, and I bring it up in the later section, but they've made it so that if you like a league mechanic, you can straight up farm that league mechanic, and now everybody has purpose. Everybody can farm what they want. And if you want to switch it up, it doesn't take a whole new Atlas tree. You don't have to switch around. You can just go, hey, today I'm going to farm Delirium. And you can do it all day long. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to farm Abyss. I'm going to go do that. And you can just switch around. And it's going to be it's going to allow for people to specialize. It's almost like having a whole job system in a video in an MMO. Path of Exile 2 is starting to get into an MMO esque range, like genre. It's sticking its toe, its pinky toe, into like MMO realm for me, and it's so good. It's so delicious for me, and I'm liking it. Um, Another cool thing: most bosses, mainly the new ones, a lot of the pinnacle bosses, well designed. The new real big pinnacle, the Arbiter of Divinity, awesome looking. Unfortunately, my build very very powerful. So I didn't get to really appreciate it. The first time I did fight him, I wasn't very strong, so I got to see all of his mechanics. And it took me a few tries. So it was really cool to see. A lot of cool effects. He was really strong. I like his voice acting. My favorite voice acting though was the Raven, the new Delirium boss. I don't know who does his voice. I don't know what accent that is. I just really liked his voice and the cool like glass shattering mirror reflection and the idea of like it's just like a dream. It really plays into the whole delirium vibe. I really like that. The only boss that I didn't really care for was the the Bodok or Bodosh, whatever that is, the new ritual boss. I didn't really care for that one because it feels really buggy. Maybe I'm wrong, but the weird shadow goo, the black mist thing, it was really strange to me and it felt really off. Uh, it was a cool looking boss, sure, but it felt kind of buggy to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Um, but that boss melts really fast for my character now. Uh, and then the aberration, uh, the King's March boss, that was also really cool looking. Um, but it felt really didn't feel very powerful. Maybe I was wrong. Um, but yeah, all the bosses, everything was really cool. Esh and Toll pissed me off. I don't know what the hell happened there. It's the same as it's the same as PoE 1, the remake of the Breach bosses and stuff. I don't know what the hell happened to those two, but they keep getting they for a long period of time they kept getting stuck. Esh would jump up onto the hands on the outside and just kept getting stuck. They fixed it in a recent patch, but that one just kept bugging out. I have a whole bunch of failed uh breach encounters because of that because they kept getting one of them would get stuck and then one of them would just sit there and then I wouldn't take any damage. I would just sit there. And yeah, that one really irritated me. I probably lost quite a bit of currency on those two because of bugs, but other than that, um it was just it was other than the couple of the bugs, everything was really good. And the new encounters and expedition were really good. Um but overall, all of these things and the prospect of just the expansiveness of the Atlas and the idea of this like pseudo MMO feel to this, uh, it's pushed PoE 2. Uh, I would dare I say it's now PoE 1 and then PoE 2. And I will still put Torchlight Infinite as number 3 for my three or ARPGs. Uh, after that, I haven't touched Last Epoch for a long time now. Uh, I would probably still put Last Epoch probably around 4. It was the last one that I really enjoyed. I know it's kind of fallen off a lot. They haven't really done much to it since they sold the company, but what I've heard is it's still about the same. So I'd probably still put it at 4. I heard Diablo 4 has picked it up, but it was such a disappointment for so long. I just don't want to give it any more credit. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. Blizzard has disappointed me for over a decade now, and to be fair, I haven't enjoyed like World of Warcraft. I haven't enjoyed since Cataclysm, and then Overwatch. I stopped having enjoyment of that game even before Overwatch 2 came out. Hearthstone stopped being fun about 2 years into it. I just haven't really cared about Blizzard in general for a very long time. So um, it's just not for me. It's just not a company for me. So therefore, I'm just not gonna support them. I mean, not like I go actively hate them or something like that. That's kind of childish. So that's the reason I don't really say anything positive or even negative about them. It's just for me. It's just not for me. So there's that. And then there's no really any other ARPGs that I play or have played for a very long time. So those are my top 3. PoE 2 is now number 2 for me. Congratulations on that. Fucking let's keep it up. Keep it going. However, got to talk about the cons. There's definitely some cons. Crafting feels convoluted as hell. I do not know what they're doing here because we got a bit of an issue. As I was saying about all the positives, crafting is still in this weird, we don't know what we're doing with the game kind of in between thing. If they want to still keep the crafting to be this kind of throw orbs at it and then throw it away if it doesn't hit what you want, fine. I've been crafting Trarthan cannons. I've been buying up 3 socket exceptionals. They go from, you know, they'll go from anywhere between 5 exalteds all the way up to like a chaos or two. And I'll buy like 50 at a time. And then I'll throw perfect transmute augments and perfect regals. Keep going until I hit something. And if I don't hit anything, I just vendor them all. There's really nothing you can do. Uh, Annulling them is too expensive because annuls are like a divine and a half, 2 divines a piece sometimes. I think they're about a divine, 1.2 divines or something like that now. They're just not worth it. So it's a lot of trans annul or trans aug delete. You can't do anything about it. So if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Some of the more expensive bases, you end up having to do something like that because you're not gonna want to buy a bunch of like 5, 10, 15 divine bases and then not have to try to craft on them. Um, I think that's going to change over time. I wouldn't doubt we get something like, a harvest mechanic or a harvest even coming back in some capacity. We're going to get more crafting leagues eventually, but until then, crafting is still very expensive, especially at high ends. Otherwise, it's a lot of alch and go kind of stuff. It's just going to be that way. Campaign is still a bit of a slog. However, there's enough nuance and enough entertainment that doing the campaign every league isn't terrible. I just don't really want to do it a second time. However, the game is fun enough now that I can see myself going, okay, I would like to try another character. Sure, I'll play through one more time. I'm getting to a point now where I think playing more than once is going to be fun enough. The game is fun enough end game to play more than once. That's what really needs to happen to get over the hump of wanting to go through the campaign. Plus, we don't know what Act 5, 6 is going to look like. We already know that they've dropped the idea of a 7th act, which was originally going to happen, but they dropped that idea a while back. So we'll see what happens. Missing characters, we already know that they're gonna add them. I'd like to see them add at least 1 or 2 more before the planned release, either later this year or early next year. Uh, Shadow, my boy, I want Shadow to be added. I want Traps and Mines. I mean, there's still a node in the tree right now, up here. Where's it at? Right here. There's trap damage right here. It's still here. It looks like a claymore, I think. I think that's supposed to look like a claymore. Kinda. It's a little it's curved a little more than a claymore is, but I think that's supposed to look like a claymore. But there's trap crit damage. No build is using this right now. It would be pretty stupid. It's here. They're doing it. It give me shadow. Give me my shadow. Please. Please give me my shadow. Lots of bugs still left to iron out. Some of the bugs that I've been running into, one of the expedition maps is based off of, I can't remember the name of the expedition, the Grand Expedition map, but it's based off of the trenches map, which is a lot of very skinny pathways, and it's got a lot of bramble breakable walls. A lot of the mobs will get stuck behind the walls, or they'll get stuck inside of the non-destructible walls, or um, uh, which will break your map. Then those little puddles that you can break open for, I think it's like increased effectiveness or something. It'll also spawn the worm boss. Those will spawn and block you from being able to traverse you can't walk past them. That'll happen sometimes. Um, the walls, the bramble walls, will also stop you from going through some of the pathways. All that stuff. Uh, that whole map needs to be removed from the Grand Expeditions. Like, use a different one. Use like a bog or whatever that one map is that kind of resembles it. Use something else. That one is terrible. Another problem with that same map is some of the explosive like towers, whatever they're called. You'll set them up, and even though they're right in the middle of a one of the little alleyways or something, it won't register that it's there, and you won't be able to place the next one because it'll be invalid. So stuff like that needs to be looked at. I don't know what's happening. So bugs like that are really annoying. There's a lot of other stuff. Uh, Way too many to name here. Obviously, this is stuff that's getting ironed out. It's still beta. I understand that, but some of it can really brick your maps. Some of it can cause a lot of issues. So obviously, this is more of a ongoing thing. Hell, there's still bugs in Path of Exile 1. Always new things that get introduced every patch, every league. What do you expect? The reason I even put this in here is that there's a handful of bugs, like the ones I just mentioned, that have been persistent, and they are things that need to be ironed out sooner than later, simply because they're uh, they impact the gameplay uh, so commonly. So, really, the reason that I put it in here. The next one, clipping needs a reconsider. I get it. The game looks great. GGG, you did a great job. It looks good. It's not going to break the immersion if we can walk through a boulder. It's not going to break the immersion if we can walk through a pot or a couch or something. We don't need to get stuck on every damn thing. Not every single asset needs to have clipping and or collision enabled. I don't need to roll and get stuck on something and get one shot by Monkey Boy every damn time. That's one of the big things. In fact, I have friends that won't play this game anymore. I just talked to a buddy of mine. He said, I can't play this game simply because I get stuck on everything. Now, a lot of you memesters will say, oh, get good. No. It affects all of us, no matter if it bothers you or not, is one thing. You don't need to get stuck on everything. I get it. It's not a Counter-Strike map where everything's been blocked out so that you don't get stuck on, down pipes or something. It's not like that, but you don't need to get stuck on everything. You can go through and remove clipping and collision on a lot of stuff. We don't need to get stuck on everything. Um, I bet you more people die from getting stuck on pebbles and rocks in Path of Exile 2 than people getting killed by bosses. I bet you. Um, it's a gorgeous game. It looks great. We don't need clipping on every pot and boulder. In fact, one of the boulders, the reason I keep saying boulder, is the one that you can break open in Expedition, in the smaller expeditions and maps, that you can go down and fight that one little boss. That boulder has literally stopped me from finishing, even starting an expedition. I think it was like an augury map or something like that. Or seepage, one of the ones where it was like skinny hallways, and one of the hallways was just a dead end, and the expedition spawned in that dead end, and the boulder spawned blocking that, and I couldn't get around it. And behind me were some of those big, like, orange flags, the ones that indicated like the big remnants were right there. And like I had potential of a couple of like logbooks, and I couldn't do any of it because the expedition was behind the boulder that I couldn't get past. Like, why can't I walk through this? I don't need this to be an actual physical object in the world. Turn off clipping, please. Um, Other than that, the last thing, current characters and ascendancies still need work. I think this is kind of a general consensus. I think a lot of people, both new and old players, they know that there's some balancing issues. There's a lot of characters that are getting underutilized, especially melee. It seems like melee is just not PoE's forte. The first game's the same way. I mean, the best melee skills in the first game are like Flicker Strike, where you're uh you're in and out so fast, and you're jumping around so fast that you're not even able to get hit. And then you got Lightning Strike, which is melee, the projectile skill where you're killing everything from distance, or even frost blades. Even that's a pretty powerful skill. Everything's such from a distance when it's melee. So there's a lot of problems, a lot of things that need to still be worked on. We get it. Um, the combo stuff, I don't think that was ever gonna work. I don't know if you're still working on. I don't know if GGG is still working on that. Um, Hopefully something can be figured out. I know there are some people probably making some pretty good slam builds and what have you. I get it, but for the overall population, I'm sure uh, some people would like some cool slam skills that actually don't need 17 button combinations. Um, I'd like to see some cool totem builds. That's why I'm also hoping for Hierophant or Templar eventually. I'd like to see Templar come out and be a little bit younger, because I know that the original Templar probably can't be in this game because he was already really old in the first one. So like his son is in the second one. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, let's get to the concerns. This is a short one. Uh I'm gonna go bottom to top on this one. Power creep already. This one I'm noticing this one. It's kind of weird. It feels like there's already power creep in the game. We got Mage Blood. Mage Blood was added to PoE 1 damn near a decade into the game, and it was a very powerful belt. We already have it, and it's extremely powerful. Why? Why did we already get this? It's so strong. Why are we already getting stuff like this? I feel like it's a little early to have stuff like this, unless you intend to have Mage Blood 2, Electric Boogaloo at some point. Like, it feels so early to have these really powerful things. I think the game's going too fast. Something feels off about that kind of thing. It almost feels like PoE 2 is becoming an extension of PoE 1 more than a new game. The power creep is the thing that I think is a little bit more on the nose than what a lot of people might be complaining about. I think a lot of people complain about, oh, it's just like PoE 1. It's fast builds and this and that. The power creep is what I'm looking at. That feels more like it's more of an extension of PoE 1 than anything else. That's what I'm really worried. We're already getting power creep, which is kind of strange. We're already getting like increased like um bases for items. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into that too deep. Something just feels a little bit off. It would be nice to see some of the uniques uh, I'd like to see uniques that actually are useful. Some of the uniques are just terrible and never have been good and never will be good. Like Original Sin is a monster of an item in the first game because of the way things had changed, the way scaling works in this game. It's the complete opposite in this. It's a 1x item. It's so weird. Everything's so strange and backwards. PoE 1 Fate, it does worry me. PoE 1 is still the king. Um, it has a rightful place as king. It still is. It probably will be for a long time. Um, I don't think PoE 2 is even close to taking the throne. In fact, nobody is close. Even not even a subjective thing. I think it's objective. Even for those that hate PoE 1, I think it's objective. It's not even a numbers game. I mean, a lot of people can argue, oh, the millions of people play one game, Diablo, whatever, because it's simple. Diablo is easier to digest. That's why. But just hands down, it's just a better game. Um, but it's still a bias. I'm still it's hard to articulate why I believe that it would be more of an objective thing. I feel like if some scholar sat down, you could you could literally break it down and tell and really explain why. But still, uh and also on top of everything, I'm sitting here talking with no script, and I don't want to derail too far. And I don't really want to restart or change anything. So um I am worried a little bit about PoE One's fate. I think GGG, because of their stringent rules in that, in I believe in their country they have stringent rules on hiring practices, what have you. Um, they're not going to be ever be able to be big enough as a company to really hold on to running both of these games congruently. I think eventually they're going to have to drop PoE One. Um, I just hope that they get PoE two to a point where they can sunset PoE 1 safely without losing a lot of their player base. Um, I hope that's years in the future. So we'll see. We'll see. Uh, the last one is Future Leagues. This is more of a lighthearted thing. This is more funny. Uh, I just thought it was a little bit humorous because what I really wanted to end this whole section on is that when you get to endgame and you get out to the world, they have a couple of directions that you can go in to do the quest lines for each of the or each of the leagues. If they do this with every league, you're gonna have 47 directions to go in. So I'm kind of curious what they really intend on doing when they add new leagues. If they're gonna combine some of them, or if they're gonna like uh do other ways of doing quest lines, or if they're gonna kind of meld them, what have you. I think that's kind of a funny thing to think about. Oh, okay, you're in the end game. Here's 3 pages of quest lines that you have, and you have to go north, northwest, east, south, north, and then you'll find a little node, and then you go underground, and then there's like 3 layers underground, and then you I don't know what they're gonna do about that. I'm sure they have ideas, but that's just kind of funny to me to have like so many quest lines to do so many different league mechanics. A couple years from now. So that's kind of funny. But tell me what you guys think. What do you think about all this stuff? What do you feel about PoE two? You think it's starting to live up, starting to carve its own path of exile, or you think it's on its way out. You think it's gonna face plant soon. Think it's not worth it. Or somewhere in between. Other than that, that is it for this section. It's gonna be a long video, but I'm gonna obviously divide it up. I'm gonna put this aside. Whoop. And let's go into the video section of my build. So, what do we got here? This is my explodey grenade guy. Whee! Just explosive grenade. So, in this build, I have grenade. I have virtuous barrier to gemling. Explosive grenade. It is a 21-23. It has fire attunement, elemental armament 2, short fuse, deliberation, and multi-shot 2. Currently, I am sitting at 160k on the sheet damage. Means absolutely nothing. Got cluster grenade, 42,000. It is a level 21-23. Sure. Got our mini grenades at 26,000 apiece. Gas grenade. We got oil. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to go over the supports. Multi-shot 2. Magnified area 2. Deliberation. Payload. And elemental armament. Apparently, elemental armament 1. Did I do that on purpose? I think I did. I gotta double check. I did not change that. That's actually kind of funny. I haven't looked at these in a while. That's actually really funny. There we go. Elemental armament 2. That's funny because that's a little bit more damage. Anyway, got gas grenade, multi-shot 2, payload, fire exposure, defy 2, oil grenade, magnified area 2, rapid attacks 2, persistent ground, potent exposure, mirage archer, which I forgot to turn back on. I was helping a buddy of mine. Why is that? There we go. Back on. Explosive grenade, multi-shot 2, payload, cooldown recovery, and elemental armament. That had 2. I got Wind Dancer with magnified area 2. Herald of Ash with Deadly Herald. We got Voltaic grenade with ambush. This doesn't matter. The only reason I have this is so that I can get 12, 12, and 12. And I'll show you why. And then artillery ballista, same reason, just to have the balance up here. All right. My gear. Let me put this away. First, before I look at the gear, I'll show you the tree. First things first, the ascendancy. Bolstering implants, strength or dex, doesn't matter. Advanced thaumaturgy. Gem quality, additional effect. This is really powerful, really strong. Gives us, for things like this, we get an extra 31% fire damage because I have 11% quality added. For Mirage Archer, 62% reservation efficiency. All the extra quality, of course. And then up here, 3 projectiles. 3 projectiles because I have over 30% quality. Every 10% we get an extra projectile. Reduced detonation time. 68% reduced. This basically makes Cluster Grenade into a melee skill. Virtuous Barrier. As you can see, I'm getting 3 intelligence motes. I'm getting 13 dexterity and 11 strength. Quite a bit. I'm sitting at almost 3,400 life. I'm sitting at 63% armor, 54% evasion, capped all res. I have physical damage reduction of 63%, 21% elemental damage against hits, 40% or 62% deflect, 12,000 rating. Got a 10,000 or 11,000 evasion with a 54% evade. So not the best, but good enough. I'm okay on the tankiness side. Really, really big hits, it happens. I have a little bit of ward, not a lot. Didn't really go too much investment into the ward. Can't really get a ward on the chest piece, and I'll show you why later. First thing, I want to go through this first. So we got gem studded. Gem studded is why I have this equal 12, 12, and 12. That way we have all three things. Hits can't deal extra damage on crits. 30% less cost on all the skills, and 40% less movement penalty on skill when using skills while moving. The tree itself, I do have Paragon anointed. Everything else is pretty standard for this skill, or for this for explosive shot or explosive grenade. All the explodey stuff, grenade stuff. This is taken a lot of cooldown reduction. This is because we're using the Viper helmet, constricting Viper helmet. A lot of evasion, extra bonus. Come over here for more cooldown stuff. I do have a decent Heart of the Well, cooldown recovery rate, fire damage, little attack speed, little mana on kill. This helps a lot. This gives us some chances for extra projectiles. So I get extra grenades once in a while. Elemental pen, little blind, attack speed, more grenade, double damage. This here, we get, I think I get a couple of these. Let's see here. Yeah, get all three of these. This is what the tree looks like over here. A lot of support. The reason I have all of this stuff here is because of the gem. I'll show you that gem in a second. I do have a +2. The +3 is way too expensive now, this late in the league, so I never bought it. I got the +2 early on and just stayed with that. +3, obviously, I could get more damage, but I'm fine with what I have. This is the support. It is a cooldown recovery rate fracture, +3%, 2% attack speed, and 2% attack speed with crossbows, so 4% for all the notable passives. All the smalls give 3% increased damage with crossbows. I think it's somewhere around 30 or 28% or 30-something% damage with crossbows, with another like 20-something%, like 24% attack speed, and then like 27% or 20-something% cooldown. I can't remember the exact number without going through and counting it all. It's on a very large, so it's hitting quite a bit. Hitting all of this here. Hitting all the way out to here. Quite a lot of nodes. That's why I've taken a lot of this stuff as well. So lot of damage from this. A lot of cooldown recovery as well. So that's the build. That's what all of this is coming from. Again, I've done every bit of content in the game with no issues. It is a little expensive, however. So that is all of that. Already went through this. Already went through this. Go through the gear itself. Nothing special about the flasks. I do have this charm here. This is for Ignite. Ignite is probably the weakest thing that I was dealing with. So I solved it by using a dousing charm. Um, Helps. I never have to deal with ignite. I use this for the bleeding. Another thing, basically, ignite and bleeding are the two that the dots that I was dealing with. The other one was poison. We deal with poison from this right here because the helm has higher evasion than the armor, so I deal with the poison from this. I don't have to deal with that. And then I got a rite of passage, Spirit of the Ox. Now this is a cheap one. I did find about 6 rite of passages, most of which I found early on, and then I haven't found another one since. I did get one later on, actually. I take that back. One I did find later on, and it was a cat that I sold for quite a bit of money. But I didn't need it. I like the defensive nature of this one. So I stuck with the defensive one and then ignored getting an offensive one. So I just stuck with this, and it's been with me ever since. It's all about the defensive layers of this one here. So it's been good. I got a Mirror of Kalandra Kalandra's Touch very early on in League. I actually dropped 2 of these in League. Dropped one way later and sold it. But I got this one, and it's been beautiful. I crafted this ring a while ago. I never got a high tier physical roll. Probably would have been better to have rolled for that physical. But I did craft this ring. This ring is beautiful. I've never had any reasons to replace it. I've had it since about week 2, I believe. And it's been sitting on my character ever since. These gloves I crafted relatively early. I don't need the cold resistance anymore. I could put something else on it, but I am crafting something right now. Unfortunately, I hit the wrong fracture on this, so I'm going to have to try to craft it the way it is. It is a 2-socket. It's an exceptional. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go, but we'll see. So there's that. Then I did a double corrupt on the constricting command. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, why not require 5 fewer enemies? That was nerfed. I don't know if people know this, and I heard for a little while it was bugged and it still worked, but from what I can tell, it's not bugged, and it still says it doesn't count if it doesn't go any higher than 4. If you have 5, it still doesn't work. It still has to have no more than or no fewer than 1. So I got this one. The surrounding area of effect at 49% is about 11% off. I think the cap is 60, but this is what I got. It works. This is one of the items that I got some runic ward on, and it took me a little bit of currency to craft to finally get this one to corrupt properly. I got some increased cost efficiency out of it from the Idol of Ishta, and then I put in some more effect duration and cooldown recovery from the other socket. I also crafted some Aziri steps. This one took me a while to get because I needed to corrupt the double corrupt to hit the minus max. It finally hit. This is what I ended up with. I haven't changed it off. I don't need to craft another one. I don't need to craft armor evasion boots. These boots are totally fine the way they are. It's almost a max roll evasion deflection rating. I don't need to do anything more than that. I think these boots are totally fine. I don't think I'm going to move on from that. I think I'm going to stay with these. The belt, I bought this very early on. I could re-roll the armor, maybe whittle it, because it's a very low roll armor roll. But otherwise, the belt is fine. A Mage Blood obviously would be the best. Not going to buy one. Don't feel like it. I could save up and maybe buy one, but I don't want one. I want one to drop or somehow get it through from like ritual or something. But otherwise, fine. And then I crafted this just recently. I had another one. It was good, but this one I finally crafted. It took me a little while, but this is a beautiful, beautiful pearlescent amulet. Uh, got the projectile skills fracture and then rolled for the spirit. Then I crafted on the or desecrated on the global armor and evasion. Well, first, yeah. Then I crafted on the attributes by doing the attribute quality, and then using the ritual omen to try to get a the attributes on there. And then I rolled something. I tried to roll a resistance on it. It rolled something else, and then I whittled it with a perfect chaos, and it hit T1 all res. And I said, okay, I'm done. The life also was another life quality, and then perfect exalt, and I hit that, and I was like, okay, thanks. Uh, Probably cost me about 50 divines to craft that. Got really lucky. So, and then I just finished crafting this chess piece. Fractured the elemental damage, and then chaos spammed it until the deflection. Then I hit it with the perfect exalt and got the cold res, and then just kept whittling it until I got the T1s on the. I got T1 armor evasion and T1 life on the prefix, and then I did the desecration. The desecration isn't correct. I want flat armor evasion, but it missed a couple times, and I just haven't gone back to fix it. That's what I want. That's what you would want on this, is flat evasion and armor to get the best. Other than that, this is totally fine. You cannot you cannot runic ward this. If you do, you will lose like 90% of the armor evasion and get a shit ton of ward. This is one of those bases that does a whole lot of ward and loses a ton of its natural defenses. I don't know why, but that just happens to be this base. So keep that in mind. And then the gun, the crossbow. The crossbow suffixes are garbage, but the prefixes are awesome. It's 3T1 Fizz. It is an item level 82 with a T1 perfect T1 fractured physical damage. It is only a 20% quality. I am not hitting it with anything. Screw that. I'm not taking that chance. But unfortunately, it only has +4 to projectile skills, and it has an onslaught craft. This would be better with the T1 reduction to grenade skills. It would be nice to have the +2 to cooldowns. It would be nice to have +1 to suffixes and have +2 to grenades. That would be a mirror craft all day long. But I settled with this, and I was going to craft a second one, and I haven't had any luck trying to do a second one. So, kind of gave up. This build has been totally fine. Here is my POB. Not my POB, but my... This is my character on POE Ninja. There you go. I have 39,000 EHP. This is the 223k damage. I don't know what's calculated here or anything like that, but I 1 or 2 tap every single boss in the game. Everything goes fast. Everything is fine. I haven't had any issues. So I don't know what else to say. I'll put that link to that to the POE Ninja link in the description below. There's a bunch of videos that are on my channel now that are the stream. You're welcome to go take a look at that. I stream for an entire week. You're welcome to go over to the Twitch VODs, watch anything you want over there. Other than that, hopefully I had time to put timestamps so you guys, if you're interested in any of the stuff. I'm getting tired. I'm going to take off. I hope everybody is doing great. And I'm going to be playing Torchlight here shortly. I think in a couple weeks there's a new league. And then hopefully by the end of July, early August, we'll have POE 1 next league. And I will do Golem, Flame Golem, build guide or whatever, dependent on what they do with Mirage, because that will impact the build. And I will see you there. Take care.